Do you know how much a CUD's worth? Do you even know what a CUD is? Well, stay tuned and I'm going to show you, because there's some CUDs that are worth a bunch of money and there's some that are not. My name is Daniel and you are watching Coin Help You. Please click that little bell beside the subscribe button and like and comment on my video. Today we're going to talk about CUD mint errors. They are actually rim-to-rim die breaks. So these rim-to-rim die breaks, some of them break off the die and form what looks like a CUD, and then there's also the retain, which they didn't break off, which is just the die crack that runs from rim to rim on a coin. We're going to look at CUDs on cents all the way up to dollars. So let's get started. Before we get into the examples and prices, there is a distinction that is very important that needs to be made about die breaks. On this coin here, on this Lincoln cent, on the left side, you have what they call an interior die break. It might look like a CUD, but it is not a CUD. You'll have buy errors over here in the Liberty. They are interior die breaks. You might have a bump somewhere else on the coin. It's called a die break. You might have a die crack with a large area that came out of the die. It's still an interior die break. The only time it's a CUD is when it is rim to rim. And that part of it can be broke off or it could be retained. So as long as you have a die crack, it can be right through the middle of the coin. But if it connects rim to rim, then you can call it a CUD. Now the reason they call them a CUD is because of the shape. It's actually a nickname for a rim to rim die break. Well, like I said, either retained or broken out. Here we have a Lincoln cent. And this one is almost 50% of the coin is gone. But it's not actually the coin that's missing, it was the die. When the die cracked, this piece broke off, the planchet metal filled in. And on the reverse side, it will show a little bit of a weakness where the planchet metal filled in and was raised on that side, which created a little bit of a shallow area on this side. So you have an unevenness of strike on the reverse, where the obverse has the CUD. Like I said, it's rim to rim. It's very important. Now, this one sold for $440. The next one is a small CUD that is on a smaller part of the coin. And you can see on the reverse the effect that it had on the cent here in this area. So what you're looking at is the opposing side helps you verify that it is a CUD, because it will cause a striking anomaly on the other side. Okay? And as you can see, there is a difference in value here. This one's only worth $47. One, because it graded 63. Two, it's not a dramatic CUD. It's a nice CUD to find. I mean, you find a cent in your change and you turn it into $47, you know, or this one wasn't really worth sending off grading. I mean, grading is going to cost you 60, 70 bucks. Actually, probably over $70 once you get the fees, you figure in all the shipping and everything. So anyways, this one here, since it was this dramatic and actually graded 65, is worth more. And that's what you have to consider. Here's another. This one's the Jefferson nickel. It sold for $152.75. And again, you look on the other side, helps you verify that it is indeed an actual CUD. Rim to rim die break. It has no date, but you pretty much know it's a 1999. Here you have a 1983 Jefferson nickel CUD example. It is much smaller than the previous example, and a lot of times that's reflected in the price. The more dramatic, the more they're worth. And one of the reasons I'm showing you two different examples on most of the coins that I have here to show you, because just the smaller stuff is not always worth messing with unless you just kind of want to sell it raw and once you've identified what it is. This is a 2007 dime with a shattered die, and it's called an interior die break, but it's also a 50% retained CUD. So this is a multi-error coin technically. It doesn't mean it's worth more money, but the main thing you're looking for here is rim to rim. And you've got a retained rim to rim CUD here and one here. So you know, it's one of those things where that's the main thing about a CUD. That's what you're looking for when you're looking for a CUD. Here's an example of a quarter. It has no date because the CUD developed over top of the date area. And obviously we can look at the opposing side. And you can see it here. This one sold for $56. So as you can see, it's kind of a common CUD, not really dramatic. You can't see the date. You always want to see the date on mint errors if possible. It does help the value. Here's another example of a no date. It sold for $300, but the difference in this one is that it's an SMS. It's a special mint set quarter. And those were not released into circulation, so you had to buy them by buying an SMS set. So that makes this one more rare and more valuable. Here's a 2006, and this is a reverse CUD die break, and it's very small. If you see it right here, down on the right hand side, it's just a really small one. Of course, someone sent it off, had it graded, and it ended up selling for 23 bucks. Here's a 1976 reverse CUD die break. Since you can see pretty much what the date is, because 1776 to 1976, it's a bicentennial quarter, then it sold for $161, and it graded mint state 64. And here's an example of a Kennedy half dollar. It's a no date. These half dollars are pretty rare with a CUD on them like this, so therefore it sold for $1,204. It's a really nice example. So anyways, you can kind of see the area where the CUD is on the opposing side if you flip it over. And those are pretty valuable coins. Here's one that is a reverse die break. It's a smaller die break, but with it being on a Kennedy half dollar. In 2004, it sold for $1,782. That's one of the things about value. This is actually a proof, and that's why it's worth so much. When you get a proof, very rarely do you see a proof with a CUD on it. Most of the time, those dies are retired before they break. Now here's a Morgan dollar. I'm going to Morgan dollars to show you what a dollar looks like with a small CUD on it, because I just don't see any examples of Sacagawea dollars or Susan B. Anthony dollars or Eisenhower dollars with a CUD on them. If you find one, it's going to be extremely rare. So here's what you call an reverse rim CUD. And sometimes these designate, or they're pickup points for an actual VAM, which is a variety for a Morgan dollar or a peace dollar. So here it is. It's the beginning of a little CUD. The die broke just a little bit and it fell off and fell out when it was during the strike. And that's what you call the CUD on one of the Morgan dollars. And it sold for $79. It's really not anything special when it's that small. On the 1921, however, on this one you can see that it's a lot bigger, it's a lot larger. You've got a little bit of what they call field displacement, and it broke out, and you can see it's a little bit larger. On this one here, it actually sold for $305, so it's going to be worth messing with. Also, a lot of times, it's a 21D, so it's a VAM 1H. When it's a VAM, typically, sometimes it can add more value to the coin. Now, here is an example of a presidential dollar with an interior die break. I wanted to get back to that. There's just not any examples of actual CUDs that I've found so far on any of the presidential dollars or later dollars. So if you find one, I'd like to post a picture, send me a picture. I'll put my email address down in the description. So anyways, I hope this helped you with CUDs and how to identify them and what to look for, how much some of the values are for these. And please share the video, give me a like there, and click that bell beside the subscribe button, and have a great day.